of just pure instinct, just reaches her hand up and was like, oh my gosh, no, and tries to hold back the blast. Now, she can't. Lula comes in and was like, yo, we got this. We're still talking about megatons worth of debris that a Padawan and an untrained civilian are managing to just deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Anime Ramble. Today I got for you Star Wars The High Republic Chapter 1. Now, the reason I am reviewing this, even though this is an anime channel, is because I enjoy the art. I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is actually very interesting. And for me, comic books, what kept me out of it for so long is the art. But this has actually really decent art, and I know that it's supposed to be a self-contained story, so I don't have to do too much deep diving into past and lore and previous canon in the amount that you would expect you would have to do for Star Wars. But what is going on in Chapter 1? Well, the very first chapter and the very first mission for our young protagonist is a world-ending type of event, alright? This massive hole opens up in space, debris begins raining out from it, and the Space Patrol at the time is like, yo, there's a planet beneath us, we don't have anything to handle this, we need to call some people in for reinforcement. There are two big problems with this happening though. The first, there is only one Jedi ship in range, and it's a Jedi ship that's filled with 90% Padawans. Regardless of the fact if they're Yoda students or not and nasty with the lightsaber, this is going to be a really big task for them to take on that Yoda just seems that they're perfectly equipped to handle. Given the level of threat, I just don't see this being the case. But the second main problem is that this is their first mission, a world level catastrophe of an event, and this is their first solo mission that they have to do. Now, our girl Lula, she's the main protagonist. She's chilling off in the background and I guess depressed because she knows something that nobody else knows, but for whatever reason, she's not telling anybody about it. That, or she's just a depressing person in general and she's always negative, because that's the impression that she gives. She's very depressing the moment that you see her. Everyone else is trying to come up with a plan. Yoda is giving instruction and she is just off in La La Land. Which leads me to the next part of the chapter, where this series shows two point of views. The first being from the Padawans, mainly Lula's position, and then we see a second POV, which is Zine's, and she's one of the natives that's on the planet in which all the debris is raining on, and she is one of the people who is in need of being saved along with everybody else. There was something rather interesting that we found out from Zine. With everybody who lives on the planet, the colony of people that she is associated with, she's always been taught that the Force is something that is pretty much meant to be admired but never touched. I think it's compared to fire. You can admire it, but you're never supposed to touch it, you're never supposed to use it, you're never supposed to wield it. That doesn't change the fact that she has always been able to sense the Force since she's been a child. She's very Force sensitive, and because of that, she's always lived with this secret of having this ability or sensing something but never telling anybody about it, including her best friend. Keep that in mind because it's going to be important later. This leads to the two running away, trying to escape everything that's going down, and they're just trying to get to somewhere where they can feel safe. Flashback to Lula and Yoda, and they're finishing up preparations for the plan that they're going to have in order to save everybody. So Master Yoda and Master Torban, they're going to handle the large space debris, while Lula, Court, and Farzala, who I still at this point don't know who is who because they won't separate them and give them dialogue alone, so they're always lumped together and there's no distinction in them because we weren't introduced to them right away. They have their orders to lead a full-scale planetary evacuation as their first mission. And I have to take a minute to talk about this because Lula has brought up in her own words that she is absolutely terrified of this situation and everything that is going down. The problem with her saying this is that it's never actually shown. We are never actually shown that she is terrified. She handles the situation and everything that is going on 100% perfectly. There is not one hair out of place on her head. There is not a stutter in her voice. There is not a slip of her lightsaber. There's not a fumble of her lightsaber. There's not a momentary mental glitch that puts her in a worse state of mind to where she can't even like mess up the Force. There's no point in you telling me that she's terrified if I can't see that she's terrified. An example of that would probably be Metal Lee from Naruto, an incredibly capable individual in terms of combat, but he is the definition of being terrified, at least at the beginning of Boruto. His nerves would legitimately take him out of the fight. It didn't matter the training he had, it didn't matter all the gates he could open up and anything along those lines. The mental state of being terrified. I want y'all to understand what I'm saying when I say this. She's not scared, she's not nervous, she's terrified. It doesn't matter that she's number one. Oh yeah, she's number one, by the way. she's number one in everything. You could just chalk that up to the fact that she is Yoda's student, or, well, I'll just let y'all decide on that, okay? Chalk it up to whatever you want to chalk it up. I say that she's Yoda's student, so it makes it complete sense that somebody has to be number one, and if anyone's going to be number one, it's going to be Yoda's student. Regardless of that, it doesn't change the fact that you have a classic example of show don't tell going on right now. All right, there's too much telling, not enough showing, and this would have been a really good moment to see how they were going to develop her if there was areas to develop her in. But from chapter 1, we know that she is number one in everything, legitimately, unless there's more criterias than to this list to be a Padawan or a Jedi. She is number one in everything, and she shows that. She shows that she's good in everything. She doesn't show that she's terrified. And so you have Lula doing her thing, leading everybody. The Padawans are doing a phenomenal job. Despite the fact everything is raining around them, they have led the caravan to where Zeen and Crix are unintentionally, because that's just where they have to go. They come across Zeen, they see everything that's going down, and if you flash back to everything that happened with her, Crix had led Zeen to where he felt was the safest, okay? He sees the Elder, and these two individuals have grown up in this caravan of individuals. They never knew their parents, so this is all they know. This is their family. So when they see the Elder, someone who has raised them and grown up with them and taken them from planet to planet, it was a no-brainer for Crix, right? He was like, yo, let's go. The world is literally blowing up. We don't have time to wait. He grabs her hand. He rushes her off to where the Elder was. The, I guess, staff around them, these fucking renegade vigilantes, so to speak, hired guns, really, because they're helping the Elder. They're like, no, only the Elder is going to be able to get on this ship. Y'all can't come. They point their glasses at her. And to the defense of the Elder, he's not a complete dick. He does say, no, these are children. You can't do that to them. So he does have a heart, so to speak. This just seems like something that was out of his control. And so after all of that is happening, in comes Lula, in comes Court, everybody else. We still don't know who is who, because there's no name bubbles indicating who the fuck it is that is talking, even from the very first page. So I'm gonna just assume who is who, but the only person we really need to focus on is Lula. In this moment, the fight breaks out and this massive piece of debris is coming down. And so Zeen, out of just pure instinct, just reaches her hand up and was like, oh my gosh, no, and tries to hold back the blast. Now, she can't. Lula comes in and was like, yo, we got this. We're still talking about megatons worth of debris that that a Padawan and an untrained civilian are managing to just deal with off rip, and it took too much out of it, because after it you can see just this complete breakdown. Not really a breakdown, but they ain't got nothing less to their name. They're surrounded. Then of course you have the main villain for the chapter pop out and it was like, this is the end for all of you, you know, normal bad guy banter. I do have to bring this up at the very end of this chapter review, because when Zeen used the Force, okay, when Zeen used the Force, Crix sees this, right? Everybody sees this and was like, oh my god, you can use the Force. But Crix's reaction is just so over the top. You're left wondering, why are you this mad? You know what I mean? Like, she's still your best friend, and even something more simple than that, she saved your life. Why are you this mad, right? The Force, from the dialogue that we've had from Zeen, the Force was described as fire, right? You can admire it, but you don't use it. It never came across as something evil. Okay, so for Crix's reaction to go from 0 to 100, it's so unbelievable. I'm like, bro, relax, right? Like, he is intense. He was like, you lied to me. I'm like, yeah, everybody lies. Relax. She saved your life. You just had guns pointed at you. The world is still blowing up. Can you get off your high horse and just accept the fact that this has happened? It made no sense to me for it to go down like that. But that is the end of the chapter. I've rambled on long enough. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it to the end, thank you. If you are new, go plus on your smash that subscribe button. Lets me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going on. If this is a series that you want to follow, smash that like button. If this is a series that you want me to cover, if you rock with it, because it tells me everything that I need to know. This is something out of my comfort zone. I don't review comics. This is the first one on this channel. If this is more content that you would like, again, leave that down in the comment section below. Subscribe if you are brand new, and like always, until next time, I'm out.